Hey guys, how you doing? Welcome back. Hey, I wanted to look at what we can do to uplift this crypto market and get an infusion of cash in here and just get more adoption altogether. And that means we're going to have to pull some of the stock market people over. So what I'm going to do today is I want to look at a few options to figure out how we can get some of them to jump ship and come over to our side. And let's start with the first one. You're not going to believe this. I got to ask Warren Buffett a question on his opinion on it. Hey, Mr. Buffett, how you doing? Thanks for inviting me here. It's Spencer from Spencer's Crypto Vibe. I have a big question for you. You've seen the cryptocurrency adoption taking place. How you feel about Bitcoin? We could use your money in the market. I'll step back and let you answer. Thank you.
Now, if you told me you owned all of the Bitcoin in the world and you offered it to me for $25, I wouldn't take it because what would I do with it? I have to sell it back to you one way or another. I mean, maybe I'd be the same people, but it isn't going to do anything.
This guy is lost. Okay, so he won't spend $25 on all the Bitcoin. Now I'm gonna try to show you, Warren, Mr. Buffett, Warren G, whatever you go by. I want to talk to you, and I'm gonna show you a couple other people who kind of got their bearings in the stock market and see how they feel about it. Namely, Raoul Paul, one of my favorite guys to watch from the market. Wanted to start out here with an article on Nasdaq.com. In case you're the new people and you happen to not know who Nasdaq is. Nasdaq's the multinational financial service corporation that owns and operates 3 stock exchanges in the United States, New York, Philadelphia, and I forget what kind of companies trade on Nasdaq. These ones here: Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Tesla, NVIDIA, Google, CNA, and Meta, also known as Facebook. Now, for Nasdaq to at least allow this article to be written on their site from one of the contributors, I think it's pretty cool. The question is not if global adoption of cryptocurrency will happen, but when. 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whenever it's going to happen. It's time to get in, and it's beneficial to start learning it now. According to a recent study by Finder.com, roughly 27 million Americans own cryptocurrency, 44.5% of which own Bitcoin. The percentage of Americans who own cryptocurrency has not yet reached 10% of the total population, but it's been on a steady incline ever since 2009 when it got started. So what happens is the rate at which adoption occurs grows very gradually to about 8 to 10%, and then it takes off. It generally explodes upward into mass adoption. We are at, according to this study, we're at 27 million Americans out of 330 million. So we're about 8-9%. We're approaching 10%. So we are actually in the window right now of that 8 to 10% that it grows gradually until that. Then it takes off. So things are about to pop here. Basically, consider the adoption of the internet in the 1990s as an anecdote. 1990, only a handful of governments, universities, businesses, and individuals were using the internet. And by the year 2000, everyone had to have a website. Not just the internet, they actually had to have a home on the internet as well. And similarly, smartphones were scarce in 2007 when the iPhone was started. And by 2011, every person over the age of 12 was carrying the internet in their pocket. This is how fast things explode here. Of course, I have a husky going off outside when we do it. Okay, so this is what Nasdaq has out here. Now, this is a person I wanted to talk about, Raoul Paul. This dude is a wizard in economics, law, the stock market, government, how they work with money, and now crypto. Just to clear my bases, here's who Raoul Paul is. He's the macro guru, Raoul Paul, who warns the stock market. The correlation with stocks. Real Vision CEO Raoul Paul said crypto's correlation with stock shifts. The guy is well known, and he knows all his stuff. People wondered, how much have you put into crypto? Because he has briefly invested in Ethereum and Bitcoin. Most recently, he decided to offload his gold bullion and his holdings and convert to both his preferred cryptocurrencies, which is Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we also found out that he answered the age-old question, how much Bitcoin do you have? And he said, I only have one Bitcoin right now. So he's put all his money into Ethereum. Where is it? Here it is. I only hold one Bitcoin. All the rest of his stuff's in there. Oh, so anyway, that's who Raoul Paul is roughly. If you didn't know that, it might be unnecessary for a lot of the veterans in the game. Now, here's something that he put in his study. The crypto space is growing at 113% per year in the terms of users. Okay, even if it slows down to the 63% growth rate of the network adoption of the internet in that same time period, it's going to lead to 4 billion people using cryptocurrency by 2030 or earlier. Now, here's the chart. This is a wild window, and it's going to be hard to get it up here. I'm going to move myself off because this is important here. Okay, so this is a technology adoption curve. The orange on the side here is the cryptocurrency users in millions. The bottom orange are the years that correlate to the 10 years that we're investigating here in this chart. The white side is the same thing, the number of users in millions of the internet adoption, and the top are the years that correlate with it. So although the internet we're measuring from 1992 to 2006, there was internet before 92, but this is sort of when the boom took place, so that's what we're focusing on, that 10-year window. 14-year window, sorry. And 2016 is when, again, cryptocurrency was started in 2009, but 2016 is when it started to have the same boom. These are correlated dates. So the internet in 1997, say, correlates to where we are here, which is 2021, which is last year, in cryptocurrency, in the path of adoption that we're studying. Okay, that's a lot of words. I hope this is clear, because this chart is awesome. He said the crypto space is growing at 113% per year in terms of users. If it even slows down to 63%, which is the same growth rate that the internet had back then this is the chart that he mapped. He mapped the 63%, not the 113%, just to show you the difference in the more users we have at this point, and you can see the chart expands from the internet chart. The cryptocurrency gets bigger faster because there's already more people in it. And he's mapping that same 63% growth through this up till, in internet terms, right before 2000. Right now, in crypto terms, that would be 2023, before it really starts to even break down and want to level off. But this isn't even leveling off. So, like, if you look at this chart, you have to understand this is a log scale. This is, the way they do the numbers is in factors of 10. So it's, this area is 10, this area is 100, this area is up to 1,000, this area is up to 10,000. So each line on the chart maps out another factor of 10. This isn't a one-to-one chart. So all the log charts tend to look like this. They come up and they look like they're sort of leveling off, when in actuality, if they were to show this one-to-one, these charts would look like they're flat, and then they would take off up. And you don't have enough space on the page to be able to represent all of the numbers that you can represent by making it a log scale, and it shows the numbers more compressed in a way. It does throw off the brain thinking it's not growing that fast, but you have to understand from here all the way to here, from this line at the bottom to the top is 1,000. Yet this one little space from here to here represents 9 more thousand. So that's the difference. It's a log scale. So anyway, we're looking at 4 billion users by the end of 2030 and possibly earlier. And this other guy, Marchouche, who's the Bears the last one of my guys from the NFT world. Here's the difference between 113%, which Raoul said crypto's growing at per year in users, versus the 63% that the internet gained in users. Here's what that looks like. If you were to start with 1,000 users in the internet, it's 63% growth every year for 10 years. These all 1 year represent 1 year. At the end of the 10 years, you'd have 81,000. By starting at 1,000 and growing 63% a year. with crypto, if you started with 1,000 users growing at 113%, that he said his numbers show, by the end of 10 years, 902,000. And this is starting from 1,000 users. If we go look at coin market cap, for instance, we're on Bitcoin chart. Let's go out to holders. This is important. This is important. Let's see how many holders there are in Bitcoin. Total addresses, 40 million. There's 40 million wallets, almost 41 million wallets that own cryptocurrency, that own Bitcoin right now. The funny thing is 40 million of them didn't do anything in the past 24 hours. Because the 24-hour active wallets, the active wallets they call it, are about the same, 963,000, did something today with their Bitcoin wallet. But yeah, so 41 million total addresses active right now. That doesn't mean 41 million people, because people have multiple addresses. And in fact, people have multiple Bitcoin in their wallet too. Now, the thing that's cool is you have to remember the max supply of Bitcoins is only 21 million. What stock people don't get, what Warren Buffett seems to miss out is 21 million Bitcoin is it. That's the max there'll ever be. So supply and demand, when you run out of supply, what happens to demand? It shoots through the roof. When you think of how many users are coming into the game, if we're growing at 113% every year, and Raoul told you, if we only start with 1,000, you get to 902,000 in 10 years. We're not starting at 1,000. We're starting at 40 million. All right, so it's going to get crazy. We're 10%. We're like 9% of the people in the U.S. have some cryptocurrency. But 40 million, this is worldwide. This is a half of 1% of the people in the world have a Bitcoin wallet. Now, they may have other small tokens or coins, but only half of 1%, based on this number at CoinMarketCap, have a Bitcoin wallet. That's how early we are. That's how early we are in this chart. And that's why we're only here, where it says we are here. This is 2021 when he did it. We actually would be like here now. That's the point. That's the thing. The thing to think about is the crypto adoption. It will happen. It's just a matter of time. Nasdaq told us that. Under 10% of people in the U.S. own crypto. Gradually and then suddenly. That's how growth happens. We're gradually 8 to 10%. It gets gradually up to that window, and then it explodes exponentially. We are at 9% roughly right now. So we're in that window. If that doesn't make you excited, I don't know what does. Mr. Warren, you saw your contemporaries. How do you feel about Bitcoin now? You know what? I'm good with that. I'm good with that. You admitted it's something that you don't know and you don't want to get involved for that reason. I'm good with that. Investors, crypto investors, I hope you understand what we're looking up against. This thing is about to explode. If you're still not sold yet, if you're still not convinced, and you're new to the game, if you're one of the crypto vets, I understand you already knew all this stuff. But if you're one of the new people, if you're not involved yet, then absolutely take a look at this video up here where I talk to you about the bank accounts. If the volatility in the market doesn't get you, take a look at what's happening to your money in your bank account. Watch that video next, and then come on back and leave me a comment and let me know what you think about it now. Take care, and I hope you make some money out there.